Sunrise in Virginia.
I think that's pretty cool.
On Pound Mountain. We're actually at a rest area somewhere off of Interstate 81 in Virginia. We've stopped at Walmart, though you can't see it, it's right in behind that bus there. And Kathy's eating her dessert, which is a chocolate caramel parfait. I just ate some of mine and it's so rich I couldn't handle it all, Shug. Shuggy, she just got through eating some cheese and ham.
And turkey, she a little bit turkey.
And some turkey. Though I didn't intentionally buy the ham. They tricked me. They put some ham in with the turkey dips. We're headed towards North Carolina, but we're still in Virginia. We're actually headed for Mount Airy, which is Mayberry.
We are now entering Mayberry, which is Mount Airy. Rick is wanting to show me some stuff I've never seen before because I'm such a fan of Andy and Barney.
I've never been in this town before either.
Good. Good, I'm glad.
We are in Mount Airy, North Carolina, here at the Quality Inn, as you can see right in the background there. This is the town that Andy Griffith was born and raised, grew up in. We come here for a visit. Shugi come here to pee.
And check out the different smells.
Yeah, she's checking out the dog scents. Yeah, that's what I want to check out.
You want to stand in front of me and get your picture with it, baby?
This is that Andy and Opie statue in Mount Airy, North Carolina.
Yeah, I'm going to get one more of them just like that. Oh, yeah.
Also to your left, the next building over will be our Silence Men's exhibit. Those are the original set of pins, even changed over that.
Okay, so this will get it set up there. We have to go out this door to go up there?
Here is Kathy and Shug at the entrance door to the Andy Griffith Museum in Mount Airy. And if you can see Goober's pumps right there through the window. Wally's service station. Squad car tours. There's the Darling's old truck.
Ah, all right.
Mayberry taxi. And the Darling's old truck. She's in the Mayberry jail. There's Otis's. The next one is Otis's.
Oh, well, you were trying to get Somebody out there, Otis or
This is
somebody.
Otis's cell
Oh,
here.
here's your keys
Yeah,
too.
that's his jailhouse keys.
Yeah. In memory of Ernest T. There's his brick.
Ernest T. Brick. Yeah, this is Barney, Andy. Can you hear me? 10-4. Yeah. Filling in for Barney.
You folks are from where?
We're from Kentucky.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
We're big Mayberry fans. Andy
Oh,
Griffith
yeah.
Yeah, they
fans.
come from everywhere. I'm still a Mayberry fan.
That's right.
Now, don't be shocked. You know where I'm from?
Where?
Here.
Wow.
You're still a fan. Huh?
That's
I didn't want to, you know, get y'all excited and like that.
okay. So you should know all about the place then.
As much as I can.
Will you point us out to the good stuff? You know, the
Well,
important things.
Just do what you usually do, and that's
Yeah.
probably good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you a whirl, and what we're gonna start off with, though, my name's Don. Now we'll see some more like. We also gonna see it change and make our way up to the show. So are you ready, Deputy?
We are
All right,
ready.
here we go. Hi now, citizens arrest! Got to get Gomer in on that picture.
Oh,
you know.
yeah.
Over here to the left where those 4 flagpoles are, on that site's where the high school used to be back in 1944 when Andy Griffith graduated from South Bay
So
High.
he actually went to school there?
Yeah, when the school was there. But now back in the 70s, they did tear the old school down and built a
Yeah.
new city hall. The show lasted from October the 3rd, 1960 to April of 68, 8 years. And the first #1 character that passed away when it went off television was Floyd the barber. And Floyd died early in January of 1969 from complications of strokes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you kept up with the series down through the years, you could actually see his health deteriorate.
Yeah.
Because the first 3 seasons, you know, he was real active,
Yep.
running around the set doing everything. But then in '64 has his first stroke. At that stroke, you never see him take another step. He's always sitting in his chair, out front on the bench, in the courthouse. And sometimes you might see him standing. He's always close to something he can hold on to or lean
Yeah.
up against the wall.
Yeah.
Never ever walking again. And some scenes, if you know he can't walk anymore, pay attention to some scenes because you can't catch him doing this for him. He'd be standing in front of the courthouse maybe. At the entrance, they take the camera away and you hear footsteps, real loud footsteps. Clop, 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 clop. They go back to him, he's sitting down, but he never walked to that chair.
Yeah.
They carried him.
Yeah.
And what gave it away to me was because the footsteps sounded like an elephant. They were so loud. And I was trying to figure out why were they so loud.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't want the general public to realize he had health issues, so they made them so loud they wanted to make sure that it was obvious to you that he
Noticed it,
supposedly
yeah.
walked to that chair.
Yeah.
Now in '67 he had another stroke, and after that stroke he couldn't do anything. He couldn't sit up, he couldn't stand up, he barely could talk. And it's going to take him off the show, and Andy said no, that wasn't going to happen because he thought the world of it.
Yeah.
So what they done for Andy, they had to tie him in a chair so he couldn't fall out of it, and they set him back in a stationary position. As he sat back there in a stationary position, in the last season, you'll see a slot. All they did, just sort of quickly in a way, they would pan by him with a camera and edit his comments in the episode and move right on along because he couldn't do anything else. Sometimes he'd come back to show you that he would left, but he didn't really, they had to roll him away or whatever. But you just seen him just very seldom in the last season because of that. But again, he died early in January of '69. Now your next character was Frances Bouvier, or Aunt B. Frances was born and raised in New York in 1902, but she settled in Siler City, North Carolina in 1974. Bought a 17-room, 5-bath mansion, sight unseen, never married in real life, and when she passed away in 1989, she left a house full of cats and a '66 Studebaker.
I read about that. Yeah.
Yeah, she was known as the Catwoman from Siler City.
Yeah. Yeah.
Down through the years, Andy Griffith used to do interviews and share with you stories about Frances and what a wonderful actress she was in portraying Aunt B on the show. Because in real life, Frances Bouvier was ornery as an old bull, a 100% recluse, and her and Andy Griffith never ever got along or liked one another, period.
That's what I heard.
But now you can't prove it by their acting.
No,
Their acting
you
was
sure
superb on
can't.
set.
Did great.
Yeah.
But there's 2 episodes that do give it away if you know what you're looking at, what caused it. In 2 episodes, you'll see Andy Griffith carrying his hand around with his little finger in a splint, and it's taped to his wrist.
Yeah.
Well, in the first episode, they asked him several times what he'd done to his hand. He said, "Oh, I had a little tussle with a couple of criminals." But that ain't true.
Was Aunt B?
Well, him and her got into it between sets at one point, and disagreeing about something to the point he got so mad at him, he turned around, popped the doorpost, either cracked or broke his finger.
Oh.
So they had to wrap it up and carry it to the show like he done something on the show. Now Howard Morris, who played Ernest T. Bass, didn't get along with her either. Now he was a very sharp individual. He didn't make it look like that playing Ernest T.
He actually directed some of the shows.
He directed some of the show and wrote some of the episodes.
Yeah.
And he said he used to direct her and she'd get all in his face at times.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to work with, but since she's really a wonderful actress, and they tell those stories not to be demeaning to her, but they knew that most people thought in real life Frances Bouvier was like a dear, sweet old lady.
Yeah.
But she was far from that, but she just done a well of a job portraying her on the show. Now, Andy left at 44 to go off to college, and the biggest change took place in this city after that to me was when they turned this street into a one-way street in the 60s. And the building's about the same. Building's about the same, maybe a little facelift here and there, or a little touch-up. Main Street's really been practically the same for a long, long time. Second storefront to your left right here, you see the Bluebird Diner. And it was up and running for many. It was up and running for many years. Till that lady retired. Now the place is up for lease. But on down the street, we'll see some other original names used on the show. Now, here's the way all that was put together. Before they filmed anything, yeah, now that's not that old. Barney's, Opie's, and Walker's is fairly new. It's just some names they used on the show, but they weren't here when Andy grew up. When Andy grew up, you had the Earl Theater, Snappy Lunch, the Bluebird back there, and they wrote those into the script. When Andy came home, he was some of the writers, and for 2 weeks, they wrote the script of the show and went back to California and filmed it. Probably 80% of the names you hear mentioned on that show come from Andy's hometown here, family names, friends, communities, and all the cities he mentions around North Carolina. And that's the way it was done.
So there's the Snappy Lunch.
Yeah, and the barber shop next door to it.
Where is it?
Right there.
Sure. And Floyd's City Barber Shop.
Yeah, and Russell's usually in there. Now Russell had a stroke himself, our Floyd.
Yeah.
He no longer cuts hair, but he sits in there and shares a story about cutting Andy's hair.
Well.
Yeah. Now we're going to top the hill and take a left. On the right-hand side, you're going to see a street sign that Jerry Van Dyke made well known.
Oh, I know who Jerry Van Dyke is.
Yeah, he's the banjo picker.
Yeah, on the episode he was on, you see that street name?
Yeah.
And looked at him and said, Jerry, go down the corner of Haymore and Rockford and be the crossing guard for the school.
Yeah.
And that's that corner right there, mentioned to him.
Yeah.
And when that episode was filmed, Andy's mom and daddy were still living right down here in this little house. Right there with those signs.
Yeah.
What? Andy's
Right here?
lived there?
That's, yeah, they was living there when Andy filmed that episode.
So is that where Andy
Where
actually?
Andy grew up.
Right there.
Wow.
But now notice the first year on that sign is 35.
Yeah.
And Andy was born June 1st, 1926. The first 9 years he was alive, he actually had nowhere to live.
Is that right?
Him and his mom and dad were Depression era, as dirt poor as it come. In the first 9 years, they bounced all around Mount Airy between relatives.
I heard that they kept him in a dresser drawer.
Well,
as a baby bed.
You never slept one? I slept one when I was a baby.
Is that right?
Yeah, Mama had twins last
I may have known about
I
it.
slept in worse places.
I spent the night last night in the old house where I was raised. It was a thrill. It was a thrill. That house has changed. I think they call it the Yellow House now. And there's been a lot of improvements on it. When I was little, when Daddy bought it, it was he paid $800 for the house and the property. And it was an old house. The wood siding was so old it was black. It was 3 rooms, 3 little rooms, a front porch and a back porch with a toilet on the back porch. It was cold in the winter. It was cold in the winter. And sometimes when it would snow, it'd snow in the house through the cracks.
So people can actually rent that place.
If you can get it, it stays pretty well
I'd
busy.
say it's backed up.
Yeah. Now, Andy was the only child. He didn't have any brothers or sisters.
Is that right?
Didn't have any brothers or sisters. And again, he was married 3 times, but he had no children of his own. But now he and Barbara, his first wife, adopted a boy and a girl named Dixie and named Sam.
We're headed down.
Mayberry Courthouse. See who I was naming got Floyd, Opie, Andy, Barney, Otis, Aunt B, Goober, Ernest T, Thelma Lou, Miss Crump, Emmett, and the Darlings, and the mayor's door.
Look here, Rick.
Walking down Mayberry.
Check this out.
Yeah. Mayberry Trading Post. Floyd's barber shop. Where? On the other side over there by the Snappy Lunch.
Sitting on the streets in Mayberry.
Mayberry memories. There's Kathy with a Snappy Lunch in the background. Barney's Cafe. Didn't know Barney had one.
Barney Burger.
What's the Barney Burger?
I have no clue. Bluebird
The Bluebird Diner is for lease.
Is this where Juanita works?
Yeah. looks like it'll be later
It's
off.
only like 2.5, 3 blocks.
Yeah, it's for sale. The Bluebird Diner for sale. Ain't that a shame? Huh?
Take a picture of me holding my new
I
shirt.
want you to put it on.
Huh?
I want you to put it on and wear it. Floyd's barber shop.
Hi, baby. Hi, baby.
Is that the original Floyd there?
Or him. You can walk in.
Thank you.
He just left.
Oh, okay.
I'm the original Floyd little boy.
Okay.
Megan, here's. Megan.
Now listen, if you take a picture of me and you sell it, you make money off of it. You better send me some.
Okay, I'm gonna take a picture and see if I can.
Look at
We'll see if I can make money off of you.
Look at you.
He actually cut Andy's hair.
Is that a
Yeah.
fact?
About
Yeah, sure.
probably about 69 years ago.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, Andy was probably like a senior in high school, and Dad was just getting started. And,
Is that where he got Floyd's barber shop from? That
well, actually,
Andy used?
well, the show itself was based on here
That's what
in
I
town.
knew.
Yeah,
So
yeah, you can tell that.
Yeah, and Andy grew up getting his hair cut in City Barber Shop. The shop itself goes back to 1927, and like the green chairs here, we had 6 barbers, and they were built in 1929. The old green cash register back here was built in March of 1929. All of these, the marble shelves, all of that stuff was original to the shop. And the sinks, and these things right here for storage. And so there's a lot of stuff that's old in here besides me. So, but yeah, that was Dad's claim to fame. And then, of course, when Andy went off to college, he came back from Chapel Hill and got his hair cut, you know, sometimes on the weekend when
Yeah.
he come home. So yeah, Dad was, and of course Andy back then was just like us, you know, just a regular Joe, nothing special.
Just a regular guy.
And people say, "What's he like? What's he like?" You know,
Yeah.
nobody paid any attention. I mean, he was a moonshiner until he was 54 years old. And he passed away.
I'm about to lose his
He
shirt.
had, you know, they used to make their own kegs, build their own kegs, and put them in water, and let them soak, then set them out, and they dried. I mean, they was tight.
Yeah.
He said he still had 2 gallons of the moonshine that his grandfather made when he was 1954 is what it was.
That's some aged shine.
Found some strong stuff. Take a spoonful of that and just start eating. Go right out your feet.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna move out of the way and let somebody else.
Nice
Appreciate
meeting
your
y'all.
Nice
time.
meeting
Thank
you.
you.
Rest of your stay, Mayberry.
Thank you.
Are you Floyd?
That was yeah.
Look your oldest on little cow.
Yeah. Yeah. Look at there, the more modern of them.
Yeah, that's a good picture.
That
there.
was about the time they did Return to Mayberry.
Yeah, probably. Okay.
It's just a matter of time.
My barn Andy shirt.
Kathy modeling her new shirt she bought here in Mayberry, Mount Airy, North Carolina. Kathy walking through in front of Airy's soda fountain in Mayberry.
I play the janitor, you play the monitor, then you play with older boys and prefects.
Check that out, Rick.
Yep. 5 cents.
Coca-Cola, 5 cents. Or like, can't get in.
We're getting ready to leave. Head back to head back to our home. Ain't we, Chug?
She's ready, ain't she?
Quality Inn in Mount Airy, North Carolina.